Bienvenidos al departamento de Bolívar. Bolívar is Colombia's most visited department, due mostly in fact to its capital city of Cartagena. You may know Cartagena for its beaches, its forts, or its colonial architecture, but there are a lot of reasons why people flock in the masses to the city. It's not just one of the biggest beach destinations in Colombia, but in the entire world. However, the department of Bolívar is much more than Cartagena. It's a mix of Spanish, indigenous, afro-colombian, and Caribbean cultures, and everything in between. There's a lot I want to learn, so let's get exploring. I made a quick stop along the road because there is a very unique attraction on the road to Cartagena. It's a giant volcano filled with mud. According to my friend from Cartagena, it's very good for your skin, so let's go find out.
Este fenómeno natural le calculan aproximadamente unos 7.000 años de existencia y es muy bueno para lo que es la artritis, dolencia de los huesos, mala circulación. Después vamos hacia la laguna, que es donde se sacan el lodo cuando ya terminan de...
Por allá vamos a nadar.
Allá vas a nadar, sí.
En la laguna.
Es algo muy bueno porque es algo muy natural. A mi amiga Gina, que viva la experiencia, que es algo único, es algo espectacular.
Muy única.
Claro que sí.
Muy bien. So I made it to Cartagena, and I may have just gotten a little bit sunburned on the way here. Yikes. So going to get aloe vera seems like a good way to start this video. Now in my 5-minute walk to the pharmacy, I got catcalled 5 times. Now I will say, it was kind of respectful. Everybody was like, beautiful woman, God bless you, what beauty. I was told by a friend who's from this area that the culture here can be kind of flirtatious. But yeah, apparently this lobster red skin is really doing it for people. So welcome to Cartagena. So I actually got to town early enough to do a little exploring before the sun goes down, and my Airbnb is only 5 minutes from El Fuerte de San Felipe de Barajas, so let's go check it out. Okay, so one quick thing before we go explore. As will be the case with many of the colonial structures that I visit in this video, they were built by the hands of enslaved Africans who were stolen from their homelands and brought to the New World to work under extreme conditions. I still want to visit some of these structures. They are a part of this department's story, but I don't want to visit them without acknowledging the hands that built them. I also know that I am not the person to speak extensively on this, but I do hope I'll encounter some people from my time here who might be willing to share a little more of their story. So with all that said, let's go explore. Now, El Castillo de San Felipe de Barajas is often considered to be the greatest fortress built by the Spanish in any of their colonies. The fortress was completed in 1536 and is basically impossible to attack. First off, it's built on top of a hill. Second, it's built with a layered fortress system connected by underground tunnels. That basically means that even if an enemy were to attack, they'd have to attack fortress by fortress. And even if they successfully conquered one, there'd still be plenty left to go. These days, the tunnels are still open to visitors, so let's go check them out. I'm in Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, despite being considered the unconquerable fortress, people still tried to conquer it. In the 1600s, Cartagena was the largest port and trade city in the New World, and piracy was rampant in the Caribbean. But perhaps the most infamous attack of the fortress was in 1741, when 200 British ships carrying over 20,000 of their strongest soldiers attacked the fortress in an attempt to take Cartagena. Instead, they suffered catastrophic losses at the hands of a mere 3,000 Spanish soldiers safely contained within the walls of the fortress. Morning from Cartagena. So today I'm going to be a total tourist and wander all around the old town of the city. Now, Cartagena was actually the first Spanish colony in the Americas, founded in 1533. It grew exponentially during the 16th and 17th century as the largest port city in the New World, and much of the colonial architecture in the old town is still from this era. Now, the surrounding city walls are perhaps one of the most notable examples of this. The walls took nearly 200 years and countless architects to construct and help defend the city from everything from pirate attacks to British invasions. These days, the walls are the most well-preserved fortification in South America and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Plus, they're a tourist hotspot, and I'm on the hunt for some cocadas, so let's see if we can find some here.
Estos son los dulces típicos de Cartagena. Cada color representa un sabor, en este caso sería panela, piña y guayaba. Adicional tenemos un dulce a base de yuca, tenemos la conserva de plátano, una bolita de tamarindo y esta es una conservita de leche. Mi dulce favorito es la bolita de tamarindo. Recuerdo cuando mi abuela se sentaba y armaba la bolita y nos daba a todos. Vamos a probar. Mi favorito es la bolita de tamarindo. Esta es una combinación entre ácido y dulce. Lo comparto un poquito contigo. Prueba uno tú, que no sea el tamarindo. Te recomiendo que pruebes la cocadita con panela.
Ese es el sabor más como tradicional. 1, 2, 3.
¿Qué tal? ¿Te gusta el coco?
Muy rico, sí.
Aquí en Cartagena todas las preparaciones llevan coco.
Y necesito probar.
Bandeja de pescado.
¿Dónde recomiendas probarlo?
Recomiendo un restaurante que se llama el Coroncoro, con las 3B, bueno, bonito y barato.
Dame la comida buena, chicharrones, papitas fritas.
Ok, estoy sentado con una familia colombiana. Hola.
Este es de pescado, plátano y viene la bandera con un arroz, frijolito, patacón y pescado.
Comida típica colombiana.
Coroncoro está en el barrio de Getsemaní. Es un barrio que se conoce por sus murales, los colores que tiene. Now, while these days Getsemaní is known for its colorful street art, it wasn't always this way. Historically, this neighborhood was home to much of Cartagena's enslaved populations, many of whom worked on construction of the buildings in the old town. In fact, the central plaza of the neighborhood, La Plaza de la Trinidad, was actually home to a major demonstration in 1811, where neighborhood residents gathered in protest against continued Spanish colonization, as well as in favor of emancipation of enslaved persons. Ever since, many people have called the plaza La Plaza de la Libertad. Now, the street art movement in the neighborhood actually began right here on Calle Sierpe, which actually used to be a public urinal. By the 20th century, the neighborhood had fallen into crime, and similar to Medellin's well-known Comuna 13, local artists decided to reclaim the neighborhood with art, beginning right here on the concrete walls of Calle Sierpe. The movement has only continued to grow, and these days, Getsemaní is one of the most visited and probably the most Instagram spot in all of Cartagena. So I'm walking through the Parque Centenario on my way back to the old town, and y'all, there are monkeys in this park. Amigos! Hola! Okay, update part 2, there are also sloths in this park. Un perezoso. Oh my god! Está escuchando la música, ¿no?
Yo no regreso más por aquí. Dile a la gallina que vuelva y ruegue por mí.
So if you've been following along for a while, you know that practically every Colombian city has a Plaza Bolívar, and Cartagena is no exception to this rule. However, Cartagena is especially significant in the fight for Colombian freedom. In 1811, Cartagena became one of the first Spanish territories to gain total independence from the Spanish crown. As the largest Spanish city in the Americas at the time, Cartagena's independence was extremely influential in the Colombian fight for freedom.
Nosotros venimos de un pequeño pueblo que fue fundado hace muchísimo tiempo por Benco Viejo. Ese pueblo fue fundado a raíz de la fuga de los esclavos. Fueron esclavos de varias tribus. Por eso es que la lengua palenquera.
Estamos recibiendo más turistas mini a Cartagena. Nosotros lo estamos recibiendo los turistas mini aquí a Cartagena.
Una vendemos fruta, lo tomamos fotos. Ese es nuestro trabajo aquí en Cartagena.
Somos imagen pública y es de corazón. Es de corazón que nos regalan de corazón. Pero también tienen que entender que somos madres. Venimos aquí todos los días y tenemos que llevar día a día el pan nuestro a nuestros hogares. El trabajo nuestro nos encanta. Porque estar con el público, con el turista. Es un orgullo para nosotros andar vestidas así como estamos, con nuestras banderas, con nuestros trajes típicos de nuestro país. ¿Sabes bailar, no?
Oh no, yo no sé.
1, 2 y 3. Así, así, así. Ahora, ahora, ahora.
Los hombres se están muriendo con la cosita de la señora.
Yo me llamo Neudis Marimón y hacen dar y primo para gente prieto sueto de América. Y hacen dar y epito África aquí Colombia. Pues les decía en nuestra lengua palenquera, ¿cómo estás? Yo soy del primer pueblo libre de América, del África en Colombia.
This morning, I am in San Basilio de Palenque, the first free town in the Americas. So this town is home to just over 4,000 people, but has a culture completely unique, not just to Colombia, but the entire world. Most of the residents of this town are direct descendants of African slaves brought to work in Cartagena and the surrounding areas, and many African traditions such as language, dance, music, and food are still maintained here in town.
Una comunidad fundada en el 1603 por esos esclavizados africanos que se fugaron y se refugiaron en los palenques de la costa norte del territorio colombiano. La mujer en ese entonces también jugó un papel importante, debido a que la mujer, como tenía acceso a la casa de los amos, ella podía evidenciar los mapas del territorio para luego plasmarlo en el cabello y compartir la ruta de escapes. El término palenque puede definirse como aquel lugar poblado por cimarrones. Entonces a nuestros ancestros lo agrupaban personas de distintos lenguajes para que estos no tuvieran acceso a comunicarse. Nuestra lengua palenquera tiene presencia de lenguas bantúes como el kikongo, kimbundu, su trato el portugués y su base léxica es el español.
Sunto, vosotros, ma, los, blad, negro, senda, somos, Dulfun hermoso. Nosotros, los negros, somos hermosos.
Otro elemento importante que juega dentro de ese proceso de libertad es el tambor, debido a que el tambor fue ese instrumento que comunica o que informaba el momento de la huida de nuestros ancestros.
The traditional house in my community, we have two kitchens. Kitchen inside and kitchen out. Hornilla is like a stove. Are you right in my community? I use it for coffee, for rice.
Los famosos buñuelos, pero más que todo buñuelos con el maíz verde, hechas sin endurecer. Así sirve para hacer los buñuelos. Son más sabrosos todavía, más ricos. Y cualquier momento se puede hacer con una canción.
Lo que le estoy pilando, no me gano ni el pegado, arremáchalo, maíz pila, arremáchalo.
Yo, exacto, ya. Y yo que le estoy pilando, no me gano ni el pegado, arremáchalo, coro pila, arremáchalo, mani pila, arremáchalo, pani pila, arremáchalo, coro pila.
Now, San Basilio de Palenque is also the birthplace of Antonio Cervantes, perhaps better known as the Kid Pambele. Cervantes is one of the most notable boxers of all time, going on to win the light welterweight championship not once, but twice. His successes brought major changes to towns, such as the addition of running water and electricity. These days, he is not just a Colombian hero, but the pride and joy of San Basilio de Palenque. So much so, y'all, that a trip to town involves a boxing lesson. And I think my personal boxing skills could use a little work.
These cups are made with Totumo. Totumo is a kind of sword.
Ron preparado, un wiki preparado, similar a la mama guana. Suto,
Suto,
ata,
ata,
jarocha,
jarocha,
abue,
abue,
andi,
andi,
palenque,
palenque,
arriba,
arriba,
abajo,
abajo,
al centro,
al centro,
adentro, vuelta.
y adentro.
Lleguen a conocer el África fuera de África.
So it is my last night in Cartagena, and I'm actually here during the Cartagena Music Festival, so I'm gonna go check it out. So I'm not really the biggest classical music gal, but both of my parents are actually classical musicians. Hopefully they'll be proud of me. Luckily, I had one semi-nice dress in my backpacking luggage. Now the question is, Tevas or boots? Actually, I might need to consult a professional in this. Hi, family. Look cool and exciting. Whoa! The Cartagena Classical Music Festival is this week. You two know a lot more about this than me. If your only shoe options were between a dirty pair of Tevas and a dirty pair of boots. Okay.
You do have room in your backpack for sunscreen.
I do. And I have been wearing it and using it. Actually, okay, wait, look. extra can tonight. Figured because I'll basically be eating peanut butter and jelly for dinner that I should get myself a proper lunch. So at the recommendation of my friend Mercedes, I am at El Mercado Bazurto, which is basically the local market in town, and it is massive. So I am on a mission to find some food amongst it all. I didn't want to jar too much papaya while I was out and about walking around. I just sat down and ordered this giant platter of arroz con mariscos. There's an entire crab in here. Looks like we have some sort of squid. There's some bell peppers in here. It smells delicious. It's delicious. Se sintió bien terminar mi tiempo acá en el departamento de Bolívar en una playa. Así que estoy en la isla de Baru. Está a 1 hora de Cartagena, pero es como un otro mundo, un paraíso acá. ¡Vaya, Edison! In spite of my less than ideal short stand, there's a lot to love about the department of Bolívar. It's fair to give Cartagena credit for its beaches, but Bolívar is also home to delicious food, living history, and diverse stories I was honored to hear. I know there's still plenty I didn't see, so let me know, what did I miss in Bolívar and which department should I visit next? Este es todo por Bolívar, nos vemos en el próximo video.